What's up everyone? So this video is going to be making a lo-fi hip hop song completely from scratch. So I'll go over my work process, just some little tips and tricks that I use when I'm making the tracks. I've played a quick demo before this so you can hear what we're going to make. So yeah, I'll just get right into it. As a quick side note, I'm going to be curating a Spotify playlist for lo-fi hip hop guitar songs or chill guitar tracks. So if you've got any tracks that sort of fit the bill, please drop them in the comments below, and I'll see if I can add them into the playlist if they fit the vibe. Yeah, just comment the artist name and the track, or you can comment a few and I'll take a look and let you know if I add them in. So yeah, let's get started. So I usually like to start with some ambient sounds, so you can use like rain, street noises, vinyl sounds, tape crackles, that sort of thing. So for this one I'll drop it in a rain sample, and then some like sound effects of the street into audio tracks. Next I like to group them together, and then as is it's a bit harsh, so I like to cut out the hard frequencies just to make it a little bit softer. It varies in how people use it. Sometimes it can be really overpowering or it can be really subtle. So then I like to pitch down the city sound effects. I want this part to be quite subtle anyway, but I just don't want it to be too bright. I want it to be a little bit darker. So I'll just make that a little bit quieter than the other one because it's quite loud anyway. And then I'll drop in an auto filter. I just cut out the hard frequencies. So just tweak around with it and see what we can get. Next I'm going to do the main keys for the track, sort of the core of the track. I like to use the Spitfire Audio Labs. It's completely free VST. Obviously not endorsed by them whatsoever, but it's amazing. I would definitely recommend getting it. So you can download all sorts, electric pianos, soft pianos. So we're just going to record the main sort of chord loop. As is, it sounds pretty sick before we've even added any effects or filters or anything like that. Also, the project's at 78 BPM, just sort of a ballpark I like to work in, but you can go up to like 90 or 100 or right down to like 60s if you want something really slow. So I usually record it on the keyboard, which is ideal if you can do that, and then you can just tweak it to make it sound, to make the timings better if they're off, but it gives it a really nice organic feel because you've got that sort of natural change in the velocities. But if you have to pen them in and you've not got a keyboard, then you can always do that manually. Just make sure you drag the chords a little bit, each note's sort of slightly off, so it's not perfect, and then mess about with the velocities to make it sound a bit more natural. So what I'm going to do next is flatten the track. So what that means is that I'm going to convert the track from the MIDI file running through the VST into audio. Obviously if you do that you can't go back and change it, however it's less sort of demanding on the CPU, but mainly it's because I'm going to mess about with the sample. So make sure for chords you've got it changed to complex because beats might impact the chords, and then I like to pitch down the keys just to give it more of a dark feel. And you can obviously just record it 2 semitone octaves down, but I like to pitch it down because it's not quite perfect. Next I've got this made from just default stock Ableton plugins, this tape emulator, which I've recently found last week. I usually do this all myself and add in frequency shifts and that sort of thing, but this plugin is really sick. It's from Elephant, I think it's called. So I'll link that below. I think it's completely free to download, and it's just stock plugins that make it up. But it's such a well put together little effects track, so that's really worth getting. So what I'm doing is just adding a bit of colour, a little bit of frequency shift, and that's that. So next I've got the highs and the mids for drums grouped together, and then I've also got the kicks separately as well, and I'm just going to populate them with my favourite sort of samples. One thing I have done is taken all the samples I like from my favourite sample packs and thrown them into just one master folder, which I really recommend doing. So first I'm going to pencil in the hi-hats, mess about the velocities a bit so it's a bit more natural. Just giving it more of a swing. You can also drum this in if you've got a drum pad, but usually for hi-hats I like to pencil them in and then just do what I'm doing now, which is shifting it around a bit just to make it sound a bit more organic and natural. Just slightly off beat. You can also add things like the MIDI effects for velocities to keep that different. Next I like to pencil in my snare, which is usually this sort of format on the second beat. Pretty cool pitching down the snares as well, something I do quite a lot. Makes it sound a bit more dark and gritty. Then next, a good thing to do is, like with the hi-hats, if you drag it off beat slightly, you can also leave, if you press control and move the note that way, it'll copy the note slightly to the right then, but also leave a bit of the other note, so there's more of a textured snare. What we do now is add separate layers as well on top of the snares, rather than just the one. It sounds really cool layering snares, claps, or snares with different snares, and you don't have to use, obviously you don't have to use the same clap on each hit. If you do use different claps, just adds a bit more flavour and variation to the track. This box is another thing I used to layer, but it was a bit quiet in this. I think I went back and upped the velocity layer. It's also great to add an audio filter just to cut off the highs, and then often if it's too bassy, the lows as well on the snares. I just like it to be quite soft, that sort of lo-fi aesthetic. If you haven't really noticed, I'm not actually doing this right now, I'm watching the video back because the original video I recorded messed up. So I'm also adding the tape simulation rack onto the drums as well. Just the highs and the mids, gives it a bit of drive, a bit of compression. Spice it up a bit. Next, get on the kick. And for lo-fi I often get quite a high cut kick, just keeping it quite soft. And then I like to drum that in as I'm doing here. The pads on my Alesis V49 aren't the best, or sometimes for drums, so I often just use the keys. So I've got two drums going on there, two kicks that is. And it sounded alright as is, so I'm not really going to change much. I think I'm just cutting off that last note. So I've got my drums and my keys all sorted. I'm just going to add a bit of compression sidechain onto the keys so the the kick sort of peeks through a bit. And now I'm just going to add some bass. I usually like to add the hip hop sub bass. I add pretty much all my lo-fi tracks at the moment. I'm going to buy a bass guitar at some point when I've got the money, but for now it sounds pretty sick. So I just recorded that. You can also record that in sort of pulses, gives it a bit more rhythm. For this I'm just recording it straight in like one long note. So what I've done is I've got the hip hop sub bass preset in Ableton, and then it adds some auto pan to give it a bit of motion, reverb, compressor, and then a limiter just to stop from clipping. So I'm just going to pencil this all into the session view. I like to start in the live view just to get some loops and figure out what I'm going to make the track into. But yeah, once I've done that, I need to start getting to session view. If you leave that too late and you're just working on a loop, you might struggle to make the whole track. So dragging it all in. I also want to add some textures to the drums. So I've got some drum loops. I've released a few free packs which have got drum loops in and textures. For this one I'm going to use this In Dream 105 BPM texture. Just makes the drums a bit more interesting, adds that bit of lo-fi texture. Again, I'm just going to frequency cut it to get it to the right sort of frequency band that I'm after. I don't want it to be too overpowering. If I'm rushing through anything too fast in this, please let me know. I'm trying not to make it too long because it's already like quite a long video. But yeah, if you want me to go over anything in more detail, let me know. I can do like a 2-minute video going over, say, the bass or whatever. So yeah, drop that in the comments below if you want me to do that. So I've low cut it and high cut the texture, and that's now in there as well. What I wanted to do as well was add an extra hi-hat layer. Often I'll do like an open hat, but for this one it's just going to pencil in a quick extra layer. I'm also going to throw on some filter delay to the second layer. Again, just adds a bit more variation in the hi-hats layer. If you need any sort of chord loops or drum loops, I've got a few sample packs out, some free samples, so you're free to use them. Next, in terms of building the track a bit more, I'm going to add the kick in a little bit earlier with the snare, but I'm going to make them really muffled and cut the highs completely, just to sort of hint in the full drums that are going to come in at the first sort of drop. So I've frequency cut the snare, except for the first snare before the main drop, so it just helps the flow of into it. Next thing I do is add my lead. So obviously, if you've been watching my channel, I do a lot of guitar stuff, so guitar is usually my instrument of choice, but you can use anything really. If you've got a keyboard and you're a keyboard player, you can obviously use so many different things. You could use a guitar, sort of sounds on the keyboard, or some more synthy leads, or just any instrument that you play. Layer in some leads to keep it interesting. So this is going to be sort of the main, keeping the flow of the track. You can have things like vocals as well to keep it interesting. Obviously there's lots like talking stuff, old interviews people throw in, or clips from films. But for this track, get some guitar in there. I usually just jam over it and then go back later and cut up stuff. If there's any sort of mistakes on the guitar, I'll just record over them or cut them out. So that's that sorted for the main bulk of the track. So I'm going to record some additional guitar for the intro, and then layer in some keys. So the same setup as before, the Labs keys. Just adding that extra sort of loops. So now I've finished the track, I've done some cut-ups, cut out some drums over there, put the drum texture throughout, some more guitar solo stuff, looping a bit of the guitar solo and looping some of the keys. I've then put it through a bit of a mastering process, so I've cut out frequencies below 100. Obviously using this method with the EQ8 to cut out any harsh frequencies that I find. Got two EQ8s cutting out some harsh frequencies and some glue compressor just in use. So yeah, here's the full track. I hope you liked the video. If there's anything you want me to go into more detail on, I can do, but I'll try and keep it pretty short for now. So do drop some comments in below if you want some more info. And you can download the project file and the samples below. So yeah, take a listen to the song, and thanks for watching my video. you.